All right, welcome to a new episode of Buckets, Boards, and Banner. I'm your host, John. This is Rob. We cover all the news you want to hear about in the NBA, and we give our opinions on hot topics. Rob, how we doing today?
Good, man. I'm back from a week at Disney.
Yeah, man,
So
it's been a while.
my legs are sore. My bank account is sore. But we're home.
Is that from just from walking? All the walking you did?
A lot of walking, a lot of payments, a lot of swiping cards or swiping phones, and not really paying attention to anything while you're on vacation. And then day
All
before
right.
you get back, you gotta check out your bank accounts. Tough thing to do.
Hey, man, well, at least while you were in Florida, you were missed out on all the cold weather and the winter storms happening in the rest of the country. I know where you're at in Minnesota, it's always cold, but you kind of dodged all that. So,
Oh, well, the first 3 days it was warm, but the last couple of days we were there, it was in the 30s, so not as
in
cold as
Orlando?
Minnesota is. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, 30 degrees last couple of days there, so pool time was kind of out, and but we came back to like -2 today, so it I'd take 38 over that. So
Yeah, I think. Well, I know here we have another like Arctic blast coming tonight, and this is Friday. Like,
oh well,
yeah, we're gonna get that again. I guess you already got it, but I know it's been a while, so a lot of stuff has happened since you've been
well,
hanging out with Mickey Mouse. Um, should we get into it, man? A lot
yeah,
of
let's
stuff.
do it.
All right, so one of the first things, let's see here. I know you heard about it. Giannis on the move. So Giannis finally, made it clear to the Bucks that he wants to leave. The Bucks are looking for a blue chip young talent, a surplus of picks, and I mean, everyone's pretty much interested in Giannis, right?
Oh,
But the ones that I have here mentioned are the Knicks, Celtics, Pistons, Cavs, Sixers, Raptors, the Heat, Magic, and that's just the East. In the West, we got the Warriors, Lakers, and Timberwolves. The one team that kind of been standing out of all the teams has actually been the Warriors. I guess because it'd be the easiest for them to make it happen. Uh, they said they have a bunch of first round picks they could offer. I think it was 4 first round picks, and Kaminga's wanting to move. Jimmy Butler's just got hurt. So with all that, we've kind of talked about this before. Do you think Giannis will move before the trade deadline, which is on Thursday, February 5th?
I think you have to. I think you got to make the move now. He seemed like one of those players that it would come up and it was really just to light a fire under management to get the players that he needed. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they signing Miles Turner was not the move I think Giannis wanted, but it's really just done nothing for them. They don't have an identity outside of him, and at the end of the day, like he won him a championship, so I
Yeah.
think you let him move into somewhere and play. I can't imagine if you're Giannis. I think the Warriors do have the best package, probably. Maybe not the best players that you can get back, but with the picks they've got, I think you still look at it though, and I'm unsure if those are swaps, but I think a team with Curry, Giannis, depending on how far out those picks are, like that's a pretty good team if you're trading for immediate picks, right? So uh, like what are you really going to get back to him? I think the market will be interesting to see though, because you saw the larger trades from the past few years. You then saw kind of what the more recent moves have
Mm-hmm.
been and what's been acquired. So it'd be interesting to see. Giannis is undoubtedly one of the five best players in the NBA, multi, year MVP, champ, finals MVP. You would think it'd be a king's ransom for him, and I think from some of the reports, that's what the Bucks are looking for.
He has
I
gotten
think,
hurt quite a bit
yeah, yeah,
the last couple years, though.
he's been
Is he
hurt, and
worried about that?
he's an aggressive player. I think they've got to be realistic in what they want. Um, Personally, if you're selling me on Jimmy Butler coming off of a severe injury and Jonathan Kaminga, I don't. That doesn't scream Giannis and Thanasis because he is coming too. Like whatever team trades, you are getting both of the Antetokounmpo brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder though, like from Giannis, like the West is stacked. You've got 10 teams. Obviously, you've got like your front runners, but you've got 10 teams that are vying for those spots, right? Like
Yeah.
stay East. I think like the smart decision for him
Yeah.
would
Like,
be stay in the
why would
East.
he want to come to the West, right? Stay
Hey,
East.
if you're going to get traded
Keep
to
your
the
cap.
OKC Thunder, then okay, I think make the
Mm.
move there. If you're going to get traded to probably in those top 5 teams, right? I think the only teams, I think previously, right, it was the Spurs. Hey, this is a great fit with Wemby. I think they've kind of put out there that they're not willing to part with their young players, and they've kind of taken themselves out of that sweepstakes, which I think you mentioned it. There's not a team in the NBA that is obviously not the Bucks that shouldn't put some package together and call the Bucks and say, hey, can this work? I think if you're any team, you have to make that call and see if it's viable.
I mean, the Bucks. If I was the Bucks, I would call San Antonio. They have all that young talent. I would beg for Dylan Harper or Castle and Devin Vassell or Keldon Johnson and a bunch of other picks that they have. That seems like that would be a good spot for the Bucks from the Bucks point of view. Like I'm just begging them to just give me all this. Like they have so much to offer. So
Yeah.
but if I was them, I would actually go to the Knicks. I mean, I
Yeah.
would look at the Knicks. If I was Giannis, more specifically, the Knicks, I believe he's been tied to them. I think he's actually said that he likes New York. He would like to live there. Um, you're in the East playing with Jalen Brunson, so I mean that would be like perfect place for him. I think if you're looking out East, but I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure that he'll be traded by Thursday.
It's tough. I think the only way he doesn't is if the packages just aren't up to par. I think that's where Milwaukee has to look at what am I comfortable with taking back, right? You can't look at a Rudy Gobert trade or Donovan Mitchell. I think they've got to be a little more realistic. I think, yeah, the top teams, if I'm Giannis in hopes of getting back to the finals first, New York, Toronto, even, and I'd probably say the Heat like makes some very intriguing matchups. Like I think you look at who they've got, right? Like, do the Bucks want to take in these? Nobody that you take in is going to be Giannis, right? You've got to look at the combination of picks, along with the young talent that you're going to get back. I'm sure they would love if they got back an all-star. But again, like he's not going to go to teams that are trading away the players that he needs to play with to be able to make it back to the NBA Finals. So if you're talking to Miami and looking to get back Bam Adebayo, I think that's a non-starter, right? And if you're looking at taking back, let's say like Scotty Barnes and from Toronto, like that's a non-starter. You're probably not getting rid of Jalen Brunson from the Knicks, right? Like those are pairings that Giannis is going to want to see. And I think, yeah, like as much as it's intriguing seeing the West matchups and what they have. Like if I'm Giannis and I really want to win, like I stay East, and I get a package centered around picks with some young guys. I think I can then take those teams. He is a guy that those teams mentioned, like he takes them to the next level. Like I think if you move, let's say Karl Anthony Towns for Giannis, like I think, yeah, they lose the shooting of Cat, but you pick that up with Deuce or OG and these guys, like that becomes a really crazy defensive team when you got Mitchell Robinson on the floor as well. Like I'd love to see that, a matchup of them in Detroit in the conference finals, or you match up in a finals series against one of the West teams. Like that's super exciting, and I think Giannis gives them a chance to win it. So,
all right. So if you had to put odds on it, of Giannis getting traded by Thursday, what would you say?
I think it's probably at 75%. I think the Bucks and him probably know this is it. I think again the only reason he doesn't, and he doesn't have a no trade clause, but I think the only reason he doesn't end up getting traded by that time is if Milwaukee is just holding out for some big offer, and that's the bluff that they have to play, right? Because you bring this guy back and you don't, and you continue to kind of fall. Then you're stuck with a disgruntled player who then maybe make some more outward demands than he has so far. I think he's been pretty quiet and pretty loyal with everything that's gone on and some of the turmoil over the last couple of years. So
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting moved. I don't know what odds that would be, but yeah. Well, I think he'll be moved, but probably this summer. I think he get better.
Yeah.
Get better deals this summer. So
That's true.
we'll go ahead and move on. Kind of switch up the pace here a little bit. So they announced 2 of the contestants for the dunk contest. So not a lot of star power here, but they announced that Jaxson Hayes and Carter Bryant both accepted invitations into the dunk contest. Yeah, I'm guessing they're probably looking for another 2 dunkers that could be in that spot. But your initial thoughts on Jaxson Hayes and Carter Bryant, the first 2 names that come out for that, what do you think?
I'm not a fan of 7-footers dunking. Dwight Howard had some electrifying slam dunk contests. Like I'll give that. Him versus Nate Robinson was really unique. I think it's the showmanship though of Dwight more so maybe than the dunks he had, which were amazing. I've seen Jaxson Hayes finish lobs. I don't necessarily know what that will bring to the contest. Carter Bryant, I've seen some viral videos of him getting really high up on the backboard,
blocks, stuff like that. Yeah,
he misses a lot of dunks in games, so I'm left thinking like, is he going to finish these? Or are we going to end up with a Birdman situation where
it's just gonna be like a bunch of nothing but missed dunks, right? And
so
like, what are we
2 taller guys. I think you have to finish it out with like a couple real studs there. The dunk contest, I think that everyone wishes, right? When you had T-Mac and Vince and C. Francis, those are gone. I don't necessarily know why the star players don't want to go in there and perform. I don't know why Zion, injuries obviously for some time of it, but I don't know why Zion never wanted to get in. I don't know why John never wanted to get in.
Like those guys, like Zion and Ja, and those guys are Anthony Edwards. They're all healthy.
I don't know what you do then. Like, just give $1 million to the winner. Matt McClung's not going to compete again, and yes, it was great watching him the first time do those dunks. When you watched him essentially do the same dunks again the next year, and then do the same dunks again after that, it just got old and boring. I think the next 2, they've got to get some really. They would love to have some star power. Again, I don't know any of the stars that are going to do it. Kind of emerging, Shaedon Sharpe comes to mind. I'd love to see him get in there.
Would be amazing.
That guy, he can fly. So I think he'd be great to see. What
about Buzelis?
Buzelis, he can. Was he in it like last year? He was in last year.
Was he in there with Castle? Yeah. Would you want to see them again?
I'd love to see Castle again. I think he got robbed. I think he's got some athleticism and some creativity there. I wasn't a huge fan of Buzelis. I think he made his dunks last year, which was fine. He wasn't super creative. I think if you get to this point, though, like, why not just do like a G League versus NBA, right? Like you were signing Matt McClung to 10 days to be able to have him participate in a dunk contest. Carter Bryant's possibly played more minutes in the G League than he did and than he has with the Spurs. So Jaxson Hayes is a backup center. There's so much there I think they could utilize, but the Shaedon Sharpe, if they can get him to get in it, I don't know who else would kind of round it out. But
if it's not going to be like the veterans, like the high flying veterans, they should do it where these high flying rookies, do it, and like VJ.
He'd be great.
Him. Furphy.
Put Cooper Flagg in it. Like, invite Cooper Flagg to do. I don't know what he has in his bag, but like, if you're gonna go after these young guys, put star players in. Yeah, like, go get it, use them for everything. I mean, I go put Kneuppel in the 3-point contest and VJ Edgecombe in the dunk contest. He actually would be great. I think him and Shaedon Sharpe are. Yeah, him and Shaedon Sharpe are super similar in terms of their jumping ability. I think if they rounded it out with those 2 guys, that'd be great. I think if they're not asking them, that's a miss. But you gotta. Sunday contest used to be the it event on All-Star Saturday night, and it's really just become kind of meme worthy with deciding who's going to be in it. So not super excited with the names. I'm always going to watch if there's a Spur in there and root for them. But yeah, they do themselves a big service if they can get Shaedon Sharpe and possibly PJ Edge come in there to play.
I think if I had 4 players right now that I'd just named or just put in there, I would have, let's see, I wrote it down earlier: Anthony Edwards, John Morant, Shaedon Sharpe, and Zion.
Man,
would you watch
that'd be huge? That'd be great. That'd be amazing. I think Vince Carter right now could probably finish more dunks than possibly Carter Bryant in the dunk contest.
He's missed. I don't know. Is he leading the league in missed dunks? Carter Bryant right now.
Only not because he only doesn't play that much. So
I don't want to knock him, but yeah.
He's just got to finish them, and I know they've got the bet right now that he can't miss 3 more dunks, or he's got to shave his head. But I just you need some star power. And
I don't know.
That'd be the best thing. Get rookies.
I don't know if it was like NBA.com or somewhere. They were like highlighting the 2 because they announced Jaxson Hayes and Carter Bryant. So for Jaxson Hayes, I think a couple days ago he had like between the legs dunk in transition.
Oh wow!
So and he just it was clean, right? And then for Carter Bryant, I think they went to. It wasn't even from this year. It was like from the summer league or something. Or I don't think it was from college, but I think it was like from the
high school.
League.
High school.
No, I was like, man, I don't know.
Oh, I mean, he's had some dunks this year. Right? Like, he's such a nice kid that I want him to do great. I want him to go win it. But man, it's just. Yeah, I don't want to say they're screaming the bottom of the barrel. These guys are top-notch athletes, but I just think, man, you gotta go grab the headliners that you can. Why not go grab again the 3rd pick in the draft? Go grab the number 1 pick in the draft. The Cooper Flagg will be in something at All-Star Weekend. Most likely the skills challenge, I would bet. Obviously aside from like the Rising Stars game.
I mean, yeah, the All-Star weekends for the stars, get as many of those big names as you can, get them in all the events. Like the dunk contest used to always be like the highlight of, All-Star Saturday. It's hard to do that when you have people you don't even know or you never even watch play. They're never even can even get in the game. So that's why it took a lot of the air out of it when McClung just kept winning, and he's a guy that doesn't even play in the league. He's always in the G League. So
yeah, he was an NBA player. So
yeah,
it kind of became like this is not an NBA dunk contest. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's change over to a couple other young guys. They actually played last night. So last night, Cooper Flagg and Kneuppel had an epic battle. But the Hornets beat the Mavs 123-121. It kind of came down to the end. Kneuppel had 34 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 8 of 12 from 3.
Oh, wow.
Cooper Flagg outdone him, though. He had 49 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, 1 block, and he shot 20 of 29. So, obviously, these 2 guys are probably the front runners for Rookie of the Year. But what did you take from that game? We're just seeing them go back and forth. Obviously, both these teams are not. I don't think either one of them are in the playoff picture. But
yeah,
I mean, it's pretty awesome to see rookies putting up numbers like that.
Is Kneuppel? Is he second best player on the Hornets? Where does he rank?
They're asking. There's a lot of talk about that. They might say he's the one. You build around him.
And I'm not saying
might be the cornerstone.
Lamel's the big name. I bet you half of the NBA GMs would say Kneuppel and possibly Brandon Miller as well are both better players than LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is a hooper. He knows how to play. But Kneuppel, I think he was somebody that, I mean, looking at picks, I didn't think he's going to go higher than 4. I think he sat exactly where he probably was going to land. Watched him in college a bit. And I mean, I think a lot of people thought, man, he's going to stretch the floor. I think early
You watch Duke
comparisons on
games?
him when they were ACC games. So,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
but I think people thought he's going to stretch the floor a bit for you. I think some of the comparisons they had on him were more so in the like Corver, Doug McDermott kind of range, where like these taller shooters who are a little mobile, and he's not the most athletic guy either, but he's super savvy out there. Yeah, obviously, I think Melo, his strength is he's going to get you the rock.
Yeah.
So if you're getting back there and hitting 8 for 12 from three is crazy, and he's played just super
Yeah.
consistent. I think he's definitely one of the better players on the team. It'd be interesting to see, like, as him as like your guy, right? Like it's his play style is
Yeah.
so catch and shoot and motion that it'd be interesting to see him have to like create on his own, which I think he struggles at. Cooper's definitely up there in the moment, but you've also got Cooper Flagg who like he's got to do that, right? Like everyone is
Yeah.
hurt for the Mavs. He's basically been given the ball and just told to ball out for his rookie year, and he's shown it, right? Like he looks shaky. I think his jump shot has improved. His motor is just crazy. He plays hard on defense and does a lot for them as a playmaker. But really cool battle to see two rookies kind of go at it. I'm trying to think back to some of the back and forth that you had really in it. I mean,
being on the teams they're on, like Dallas and with the Hornets, is this
yeah.
like best case scenario for both of them to be able to be in a position to kind of lead a team or take the amount of shots they're able to take? And like I would just compare that to like Dylan Harper, because I read this yesterday. I think it was Kevin O'Connor from Yahoo Sports. He asked, imagine if the Spurs drafted Khan instead of Harper, and there was some pushback there. And it's like, well, way different situation. Like, how would Harper be on the Hornets? Would he be just tearing it up?
I'll say if Kneuppel was shooting 8 for 12 in the Spurs, he'd probably be starting. I think the problem there is Dylan Harper came in and you got an established former All-Star in De'Aaron Fox, and you've got Stephon Castle that was just lightning in a bottle his rookie year. So you knew that he was going to have to do something amazing to get the amount of minutes, right? When you've also got Vassell and these other guys in the backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
I think Harper has done really well with the minutes he's been given. He gets the basket on whoever he wants, finishes super consistent. Probably he is, outside of Wemby, right? He's the best finisher on the Spurs. Like he gets to the bucket, you're not going to keep him from it. He gets to the paint whenever he wants. He's got to improve his jump shot, which is what the knock was coming out of college. Kneuppel was known to shoot. I think, yeah, would I love to see Wemby thrown out of a double team to Kneuppel for an open three? Heck yeah, that'd be amazing. But I think Harper will have his time to come, right? Like I think he's a guy that similar to like what James Harden got to do on OKC's teams as a sixth man and then coming in, like you have that type of possibility there. He's that talented. You look at some of those. I think the same thing with Flagg. Imagine if he dropped or something and all of a sudden ends up with another team. If he's in Philly, right, playing around those guys, he probably doesn't get to develop as much as he has now. Like he's given the reins and got to go out there. And Dallas, really, the fact that they're winning some big games is huge because nobody expected much after AD goes out, after Kyrie is not seen coming back. You think about just the first game of the season, right? The Spurs blow them out, and the automatic thought is, wow, they are not going to be good, right? Like, and I think the original consensus was like Houston, Dallas, and then San Antonio in terms of rankings for it. And Dallas' season has just got completely away from that. And I don't think it was because AD went out. I think it was just they were not as good as people thought they were going to be initially.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. I mean, back to Cooper and Kondo, like those guys are going to be all right. Like those guys are really good. So
this is a super deep draft. I think a lot of these players are still showing consistently that they are going to be here 8 to 10 years from now as like really productive members in the league.
It might rival that 03 draft, so only time will tell. So moving on, tonight, Jokic returns. He's been gone for, let's see here. So Jokic is returning tonight against the Clippers. He's missed the last 16 games. He returns from his knee injury that he got on December 29th. With him coming back tonight, though, he's actually eligible for NBA awards. He's still eligible, so if he plays the rest of his games, he can make All NBA or a lot of those other awards that they have. So he's playing against the Clippers tonight. It's actually on right now. I can't see the score, but this is big, right? Big for the Nuggets. I wouldn't say they've just been holding on without Jokic. They've been holding their own, right?
Yeah. They've been there. I'm looking at it now. They're 6 minutes left in the third. They're up 1. They have overachieved without Jokic. I think I stated it. I thought, man, they are going to drop games. They're just not as good as other teams. I think Peyton Watson has played insane for them. Jamal Murray has shown why he's always at risk of being an all-star, at least. But
Murray needs to be an all-star this year.
Yeah. They played superb. They've done a really, really good job. I think they have had guys step up, even with other injuries to Gordon, to Braun. So I think like they've really overachieved in that, and to keep them at the 3 seed in the West, with missing him for a month has been huge. I'd look at, I don't know what his stats look like for tonight. That'd be interesting to see, but I think the fact that they just stayed there is something to be really proud of. And I think that kind of shows like why they are so favored, even with some of the other teams in the West that have kind of popped up, right? I think if you asked around a lot, you've got OKC and then Denver usually as the teams that people pick coming out of the West, even though you've got the Spurs and the Rockets with really good records. And that's just because of like that championship experience, that mentality, where they held it together. And I think, that team has played, a lot of them have played together with each other for a long time. It's going to continue to kind of look that way for them until somebody knocks them out.
Yeah. So I just pulled it up. He's played 16 minutes. He has 18 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals. So
it's a very Jokic game. Probably. I wonder if he's on a minutes restriction.
I think 4 minutes is what I heard before the game. Somewhere around there.
So I mean, and again, the good thing for him is right. Like his game was never built on athleticism, so he's already kind of lumbering. So he's gonna move that way around the court and kind of get into motion and work it. And then you got confidence building in the other guys. So they're gonna be a tough out. Yeah, I don't think they fall. I thought for sure they'd fall down the rankings a bit. Maybe not all the way out of playoff contention or into the into like the 5th
or 6th place, right? Like
I thought for sure they'd fall to like 5th,
maybe so. Like they would just drop, but they didn't.
Yeah. Okay. So really good, man. Yeah.
All right.
Good for them.
Well, we'll see. It's only his first game back. Hopefully he plays well enough to, get some of them awards, because he was the one that was supposed to really push SGA into that fight for that MVP conversation. So we'll see how he does coming back. Next up, so earlier this week, we can touch on this real quick. LeBron had his tribute in Cleveland. He got real emotional when they did the pregame kind of just the tribute for him. He had his family there, so it got me kind of wondering: is this it for LeBron? They did lose that game, 129-99. They got blown out by Cleveland, but they're talking about with the Lakers next year. If he were to come back, he have to take a pay cut. Is he coming back to the Lakers, or should he go back to Cleveland and just have that that farewell tour with them?
Does the all-time leading scorer need to take a pay cut from a team that just sold for $10 billion? Is that how economics work for them?
Apparently, that's what they told him. He'd have to take a cut.
Look, yeah, he probably needs to take a pay cut just based on production and what that's become, and
availability. Yeah.
I mean, they were giving big paydays to Kobe at the end of his time there too, and and he wasn't doing a lot either.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's the end of it, and that's just because I think LeBron, we all have seen, like, has an ego in basketball, and I think there's no way there's not going to be a swan song send off for him. Like, there's no way he's going to go out and not have every arena kind of filtered out. And I'll say this, I don't think the NBA would allow it to happen and not rack up those ticket sales that would come with a farewell tour. So they are not going to let anyone get away with not being charged 10 times face value for those things, and putting out T-shirts and stuff like that. I think he's definitely at the end of it. I think he gets a last hurrah next season, probably. Maybe he doesn't play in all the games, but I think there's definitely probably a farewell tour that he gets, and then the Lakers can kind of see how they move on from that. But
you know what I wonder with that? Like when he does leave, what do they do with Bronny, the Lakers, and
he's gone. He's gone too.
Yeah, I was like, what do they do with him? But
Bronny is getting waived the moment that LeBron is not in the league anymore.
Because was that last week? It might have been their beginning of last week, where they were talking about how Jeannie Buss was frustrated with LeBron and felt like he wasn't. I'm paraphrasing, but like he wasn't grateful enough for them drafting Bronny. And I thought that was wild. Like, okay, so
I'll say this,
LeBron had no say in any of that. Like they just did it.
Wow. I'll say this. I don't believe that for a second that he didn't have a say. I'll say this though. Say what you want about the kind of push on ownership that he does, that's talked about. If you're Jeannie Buss and you didn't see how he got the things going that he wanted in Cleveland twice or in Miami, and you thought like that was a fairy tale, and then he came to LA, like, you're kidding yourself. But also, he's won a championship everywhere he's gone. So at the end of the day, like, your job is to win championships. And he left Cleveland, came back, won a championship, probably won it, what will go down as one of the probably best finals wins in history. Goes to Miami, goes to 3 finals in a row. Sorry, 4 in a row, right? And then wins 2. 2-2 down there, wins those titles, heads back home, wins that title, and then back to LA, wins the title in the bubble. He won you championships, and for all it is, like, that was 6 years ago that he won a bubble title. So say what you want, like, he won one in this decade, and before that, it'd been a little bit. So I think people understood he is at that level where LeBron is like gonna make those decisions for teams. I think what probably rubs people the wrong way is there's such an involvement with like clutch sports.
Like Rich Paul's the one
kind of that entity.
Right? It's not, LeBron's not saying anything, but Rich Paul's saying everything.
Like clutch sports players are a big part of who LeBron's teammates are a lot. So that if you got an issue with that, I get it. You also hired
Pelinka, and Bronny's with clutch, right? Bronny's with clutch, so he's like, hey.
You got players there. Again, he won a championship. I don't think there's any way they don't have a farewell tour for him. But I don't feel bad for the Lakers and their many championship banners and the ability to get players. You have Luka Doncic sitting on the sideline right now. Like, I think.
Yeah, they're going to be all right.
Yeah.
They'll be better off whenever that time comes. And they have that extra.
They will be fine. They will have the extra $50 million that they can go spend on whoever else that Luka wants to play with, which will be everybody in the NBA or that want to play in LA with him. So,
all right. So we'll move. We'll stop there. We'll for that topic. We'll move on to another LA team, which is the Clippers. So, Rob, the Clippers are the hottest team in the NBA right now. Did you know that?
I had seen that they'd been playing. I thought they were dead in the water.
You're right. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They haven't necessarily played the hardest teams, but they were considered done, and they're making it interesting with this run they're on. So you have the list of teams they played in this run?
I don't. I can pull that really quick. But yeah, like you said,
Don't you worry about. I got it.
You got it. There you go. Yeah, hit me
So
with
they beat the Nets twice. Okay. They beat the Jazz.
That'll get you four wins. That'll get you those 4.
They beat the Lakers, so there's that.
That's also might as well have said the Nets again.
And they beat the Wizards twice.
They played the Nets 6 times, is what it sounds like.
They beat the Hornets, and they beat the Pistons. You gotta give them that one.
There you go. Okay.
And then the one loss in that 10 is they lost to the Bulls. And right now they're currently down 6 to Denver with Jokic back. So I guess we're gonna get a good feel of like how good they really are, because they're actually a good team right now. But they want enough to be the 10th seed right now, so they're in that play-in area. They're 3.5 games of Golden State, which Golden State's in that 8th seed. So yeah, it is pretty tight. But they've put themselves in a position. Kawhi's come back from injury. He's playing good. Do you think Clippers can keep it up, or is it just kind of, is this a schedule thing right here?
I mean, I think the thing for them, right, in conference 9-15, obviously 9-1 the last 10, very easy schedule. I would have to look at the full schedule, but I would guess that means that after All-Star, they're gonna get hit with some tough win or some tough games. So I'd expect they have then some trouble come back to reality. At the end of the day, though, right, like they've got great players on their team. The question has never been, do they have the talent? It's been, can the talent stay on the floor and can they play up with that intensity, right? Like you've got Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. James Harden has played very well this season, extremely well. Zubac has been possible All-Star a lot of the season, and he finished that way last year. He's one of for sure the top 10 center in the NBA, possibly top 7, top 5, maybe just Zubac, on his play. He's played extremely well. They have the talent there. The West is just tough, right? Like I would love to see them, as they match up against some of the better teams in the West, which is they're doing tonight. And losing the Nuggets on a Jokic comeback game is nothing to be upset about, right? Like they're going to come back with momentum and insurance for it. Do you think they can squeeze in? The Suns have just played so well, and the Suns have played really well and still only gotten to the 7th seed. The Warriors are the team that I think, if they're going to leapfrog a team, boom, it's going to be the Warriors. Like they are.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. The place. 4 teams: Phoenix, Golden State, Portland. Can the Clippers beat at least 2 of those teams to get into the playoffs? And
I think on paper they're better than the Blazers and the Warriors probably right now. Mm-hmm. Do they stay healthy? And that's always the thing, right? Like Kawhi, can he play a full season? I'd have to really look at when the last time he played 70 games was, right? Yeah. And maybe they're not utilizing him for that. Maybe they want him to play 50 games. I don't think he cares about what all NBA team he makes. I don't think he cares about the incentives. He plants trees for most of his contract. So I think he's okay with not making any of these games. But yeah, I think if you're putting them up in a matchup against those teams, I think they look good. Like I think if you're going into a play-in, I don't think the Warriors want to see them. I don't think the Suns would want to see them there, and I think they're better than the Trailblazers. So they're legit. We're not talking about can these guys make a conference finals or if they're an 8th seed. I don't think OKC cares if they're an 8th seed. I think they have even more incentive to go whoop them in that series. I think if they're a 7 seed and they're up against the Spurs or they're up against Denver per se, I don't think either of those teams is really scared of them as well. So they got stuff to do. I think again, it's going to remain like, can Kawhi stay healthy and on the floor? And I think at this point, I'm not betting him to do that. He hasn't played in the postseasons the last few years. So, he's playing great now. He's a great player, but at the end of the day, he's got to be out there on the floor. And I don't buy that he'll be out there long term.
All right. Well, there's still a lot of season left. Well, I guess we'll see how it shakes out.
They're the hottest team in the West by far.
Yeah. You just said
For
they beat the
sure.
Nets like 4 times.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, records wise, they're the hottest team. I think what you've got the Cavs that are 8-2 in the East. That's the next closest record in their last 10. So
okay. Yeah. I mean, all you could do is win the games in front of you, right?
yeah,
All right. So there's that. Let's recap some of the big games this past week. There was a few big ones. So let's start with, let's see here. Let's go with the Spurs and Rockets. Okay, that was earlier in the week. That was Wednesday. The Spurs won 111-99. This was a national game. I think this was right after that. What was it? The Lakers and the Cavs and LeBron coming back and all that.
yeah.
But then you had a good game because that game wasn't too good. This game was a rock fight. Like I mentioned, Spurs won 111-99. Wemby had 28 points and 16 rebounds. It seemed like the Rockets controlled the early part of the game. Spurs couldn't really get their footing. And then in the end, Spurs just kind of made some adjustments and pulled away. And one of the notable adjustments was in the first half, Wemby seemed to have some trouble with Şengün. Just being real physical with him, and then him backing down Wemby and getting under his body and scoring. But in the second half, they made some adjustments to where Wemby was on Amen Thompson, so it allowed him to roam a little and then come help side if Şengün drove, and that seemed to be a lot better. And Castle played a heck of a defensive game, and on Kevin Durant and basically everyone else on their team. This series has kind of gone back and forth. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. Like those games, like Spurs and Thunder, Spurs and Rockets, those are just fun games to watch. Did you catch that game?
Yeah. Yeah, they gave Amen Thompson the Ben Simmons treatment. And I was surprised. He finished with 25 that night. And
seems like clutch time. He they gave him more space and he kind of froze up there towards the end.
Yeah. I thought, the big change in that too. Number one, super physical game. In that series, I think the intensity turned up. It was kind of a flip of the previous game, which was just like 5 days before that they played each other in Houston, and the Rockets won. And it was a close game, and then the Rockets pulled away. Kind of a flip flop of that. Rockets had control early, double digit leads multiple times, and then third quarter hits. Spurs kind of changed that mentality, so they had Stephon Castle switch guard Şengün, who if people don't know is an all-star, and super physical guy on the block. Guarded Şengün, and then like you said, they kind of put Wemby in a spot that I wish he played more often. I think this is why. It's not the only reason why, but I think it's a big reason why Bam Adebayo gets a lot of love as a defensive player of the year candidate. It's because he gets to roam, right? Yeah, and he floats around and gets blocks. And I always wish that would be Wemby in that situation. And he got to do it. And I thought Castle went from guarding Şengün to then jumping up on KD. And Castle's the guy he absolutely loves going out and stopping the best player on the other team. And they really did that. The intensity just didn't get matched by the Rockets. I think they're a young team, young. They obviously have KD kind of leading them. You got Dorian Finney-Smith, but he isn't, he's not that kind of presence for them. But I think what really stood out, is Amen Thompson looked, I'm not going to say he was terrified to shoot, but he looked really uncomfortable having the ball with that much space.
Where'd Jabari go that second half? It seemed like he was hitting.
Yeah. Him and Easton.
In the beginning. Yeah, Easton too.
They shot really well. And then second half, I think the Spurs just tightened it up. You had Keldon Johnson kind of lead that surge as it started, and he does a great job coming off the bench and doing that. And then Wemby, right? 5 points in the previous game. A lot of talk about how physical they were. They didn't change any of the physicality. They still mauled him every time he caught the ball. They were giving a lot of pressure. You can tell the Rockets do not care about how it seems with him. They're going to push him, knock him down. And I thought he responded well to it.
Oh,
It was the first time I saw him show a little anger with it, right? Like there was that play where he kind of in and out cross on Sengun, gets by him at the three. Sengun just grabs him, starts smacking him. But at the end of the play, I think Amen Thompson grabs him to help him stay steady. I don't think he grabbed him maliciously. And Wemby
like,
kind
don't
of
touch me.
like pushes his arm off him and walks away, right? And Wemby rarely has kind of shown some of that aggressiveness. So it was good, got him going, and then from there they kind of just went away. But yeah, the Spurs Rockets, I mean, the series is just really good. Like in a 7-game series, Katie is great. The Spurs on paper, I think, are a better team than them. But that's just a tough series, and that rivalry's always been great, right? You go back to the old days.
Yeah, one of the guys that played great that probably didn't play enough was Dylan Harper.
Yeah,
he would cook Shepherd every time. He'd just get to the basket, blow right by him, or put some like in and out in transition. He's so good in transition. Like he is so smooth in there. And you're just like, well, because some days Harper is just kind of like, well, he's kind of off. He, shooting wise, but he didn't have to shoot this game. He was just driving. And with Shepherd as a primary defender, it's like Shepherd couldn't do anything and stay in front of him.
And I don't think they necessarily hunted him, but when Harper saw Shepherd in front of him, it was like, I'm getting to the rim and I'm getting a bucket. And there was nothing. And Shepherd's probably 6'3", 180, right? Harper, Harper just looks so much bigger than him. And it looked easy. He got into the lane really easy. And for everything said about the Rockets and their height, there's nothing inside for them. Sengun is not a shot blocker. Steven Adams is now out for the rest of the year. Clint Capella is not Clint Capella from Atlanta. So, no one in there is frightening anybody for anything. And I think like the people on there feel like Tari Eason's not a great defender. Jabari Smith is long, but he's more, of a perimeter type player. And for all that height they got outside of rebounding, man, like they don't, from a defensive end, like they're not really bringing that. And I think the Spurs weren't there. But again, like they play physical and they don't stop. So I think, their shots didn't fall at the end. The Spurs picked up the intensity. I'm anxious to see the next matchup they have back in San Antonio and kind of how that plays out now. So, but really, really, really good game.
All right. Well, staying with the Spurs, this outcome wasn't as good for the Spurs. When was it? It was on Sunday. So the Spurs played the Pelicans on Sunday. Spurs lost 95-104. They didn't even reach the century mark. And the big reason why was Zion. Zion had 24 points, 10 rebounds. And Sadiq Bey, another big guy, had 24 points and exactly 10 rebounds. So they had the exact same points and rebounds there. Wemby only had 16 points, but he did have 16 rebounds. Keldon Johnson had 15 points. And then, no one really else on the Spurs played very well. But the big talking point here was everyone was saying, look at Zion just abusing Wemby. It was, when Wemby was the primary defender on him, Zion would just kind of just blow past him, get to the rim. The Pelicans are finally healthy, and they haven't really been like that all. Well, I wouldn't say they're totally healthy. DeJounte Murray's still out, but for the most part, they're pretty healthy. They actually look like a pretty good team when Zion is healthy, and man, like shooting, like Murphy, a lot of these guys are just they were on Sadiq. What is it, Bay? So I don't know. I think the Pelicans are a better team than what their record says. What do you think about that?
I think on paper they're better than 13-37 for sure.
Is that it? 13-37. I know it's
13-37
in the West.
Second to last, they have leapfrogged the Kings, who are 12-38. They are better than their record. They're another team similar to the Clippers, right? Like Zion's been great when he's on the floor. He's just not on the floor a lot. He just doesn't play a lot. He's looked slimmer. The athletic part of him has never been in question. Like he is got a quick first step, super athletic. You're talking about a 6'8", 6'9" kind of defensive end build that's springy and bouncy, going against a 7'5" string bean, right? Like, yeah, I expect him to get by him. And I expect that the 4 blocks that Victor had in one play in their previous matchup probably stood for him to say, hey, like, I got to go at him. That's great. It's the meme of someone hits a shot and you're down 30. You're 13-37. You probably want to lose these games. You're not going to make the playoffs. there's huge draft picks for you to get. Probably lose. Probably go lose. Zion, thank you for it. I'm glad he's in the news for something great, because every time it's either his weight or another video that's come out about him somewhere else. He's a freak athlete, though. He's great to watch. He's fun to watch, and I think if he's finally getting healthy and in that mode, like, he seems just in better shape. It's great to see, because again, he's a freak athlete to watch and get to the rim. I think, I didn't get to watch the full game. I saw really just the highlights for it, but he looked quicker. He looked in step. And there's not many people that are going to get between the rim and Zion when he's getting downhill on you. So,
that game, it looked like the Pelicans wanted more. They were hotter. They were, just knocking down like everything. It seemed like, in the Spurs on the flip side were very cold. Wemby, maybe, I don't. There's certain players that he gets up for. For some reason, he didn't get up for Zion that day. But I don't know if they play again. But I think, once you do so much, if you get, once you get Wemby's attention, you need to watch it, because he'll definitely turn it up on you.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see their next matchup. I think that will not sit with them well, of how they performed.
Yeah, and then Zion, just do the dunk contest, man. All right. Yeah. Another game was actually last night. So Thunder Wolves, which you talk about a rock fight. We talked about that with the Spurs and Rockets. Thunder and Wolves had that same type of intensity where I don't know if it's one-sided, where like the Wolves really wanted to take it to the Thunder. Thunder did not, I guess, react the way you would think they would. They lost 111-123. SGA had 30 points. Chet had 15. Anthony Edwards had 26. Jaden McDaniels had 21 points. But kind of the story of the game was just the physicality that the Wolves played with against the Thunder. DiVincenzo, specifically on SGA, kind of just getting in his shirt, just causing problems for him, even though SGA had 30. But, it looked like, he fought for every one of them points. Did you catch that game? What were your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I know the Spurs and Thunder don't like each other. It's a tough pick between who dislikes the Thunder more, if it's San Antonio or Minnesota. I think the Spurs' dislike of the Thunder is basketball related. I feel like the Thunder somehow personally don't like, or sorry, the Wolves personally don't like the Thunder. And somehow like there's some inside. Obviously, they were knocked out of the playoffs last year by them to go to the finals. They've had more. The rivalry, they say, with the Spurs is kind of really built on Wemby and Chet, whereas
a rookie of the year stuff, right?
True basketball is built with the Wolves and Thunder because they faced each other in the playoffs, and I think that's where that is. I mean, the DiVincenzo clip that's played is I like physical basketball too. He fouled that guy. Like, he just simply pushes him at the end of the clip, and the ref kind of looks around and then calls it out on Shea. I don't think the Thunder need any additional fouls called for them, but it really was surprising to see kind of how they were in that game. That's the thing, though, right? Like, the beginning of the season, I think the complaint was OKC is playing super physical with other teams, and other teams aren't handling it. I think it's swapped now, and can OKC handle can they handle the physicality that's going to be brought to
Yeah.
them, right? Like the Spurs brought it in games and said, hey, we'll kind of match that intensity with you. And I think now you've got the Wolves beating the Thunder twice. And I think they
The only
brought
other
that
team that beat
physical
them
matchup
multiple
there.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like you've got teams are going to play that way with them, right? Like they have shown that, yeah, SGA might have 30 on you. He does not want to have to get that physical with you. And then when you don't have your second best player on the court, we've seen that Chet has kind of struggled with physicality, and that has messed with his kind of mental capacity in the game. Dort has been in and out of the lineup either with injury or just not performing well, and those other players out there, don't match up to it either. So I think where they were at 24-1 to now, like the league is not scared of the Thunder anymore.
Hey,
I think they understand they're a good team, but
I don't know if you saw this the other day. Dort was getting real physical with Jeremiah Fears and the Pelicans after he fouls Fears. I'm like, where's that phicality against Minnesota? Because Fears is tiny.
I'll say that. I'll say this: Fears did not move on some of those shoves that he had for him. I liked it, man. I know that was a whole end up in the tunnel, and they were pulling Fears out afterwards. But yeah, I think I was just saying right now, like I don't think the league's scared of them. I think there are teams that still understand how good they are, and I think the Thunder still know how good they are, but. I think the fears of, man, this team can't be beat, I think that's out the window. I think teams feel like, oh, we're going to get into them and play physical. And if we're allowed to do this in the playoffs, it's going to be a lot different. So I'll be interested to see if kind of what happened with Chris Finch getting that tee in that earlier game or the previous game against the Thunder, if that becomes something that Mark Daigneault uses, or if there's, talks around the league about how they kind of curb the physicality, right? Because you definitely don't want the product to get out of hand with it. But I think for now, like the Thunder's got to prepare for everybody to play them that physical.
Okay. Yeah, those four teams, the Spurs, the Rockets, the Thunder, the Wolves, any combination of those teams, it's like just great competitive basketball.
Yeah.
Just physical, and you can tell they just get after it.
Yeah.
All right. Last game to recap is Detroit losing to the Suns. So the score was 114-96. Dylan Brooks dropped the 40 ball last night on his Dylan Brooks t-shirt night of all nights. They might need to do that more often. Grayson Allen had 24. Cunningham had 26. Duren had 23. The Suns, let me see here. What is it? The Suns are 10 games over 500. But, of all Detroit, number one team in the East, I think they played at Phoenix. I'm not totally 100% sure on that. But, man, the Suns are a good team.
Yeah.
Real good team. When they traded, we talked about this before, when they traded KD, and a lot of people kind of just wrote him off. Dylan Brooks is kind of, in some circles, seen as like a knucklehead or, whatever. Jalen Green, not big in big moments, which could still be true. But this team actually is really good, and they won last night with no Devin Booker also. So,
oh, wow. Yeah.
You got to give credit to the team, the coaching staff, whatever they're doing over there. It's working.
Yeah. I mean, these are the moments when you think about these guys really were elite basketball players, right? Like Dylan Brooks was an All-American at Oregon, and you forget that because of his antics, but he was a star player. Obviously played in a Canadian national team. Who would have thought you get rid of KD and Bradley Beal and you just get really good. And that's without Jalen Green really being a big part of the team this year, right? Like he's been injured. He's just not come on. So interesting to see how they can do that. One of their top draft pick for the year has not really played as well. So it's super interesting to see like how well they've played, and they are kind of like the kryptonite to a lot of teams. Devin Booker is gonna come off screens, hit a ton of pull-ups on you. Dylan Brooks is gonna defend heavily, and they play well together. They've got Arcidiacono and all these guys out there that just know their roles and play really well. And they've got an okay lineup of bigs that are going to go out there and rebound the ball and catch lobs and play defense at the rim. So they're not going to be an easy out. Some of the top teams in the league have had trouble with them. Over the last couple months. So
like if that matched up first round Suns Spurs, like that's not a gimme.
Yeah,
so,
it's a tough one. So they played really well. It's been a really surprising season. They were another one I thought, man, they're going to have a rough season, and is Devin Booker going to be able to get back to where he is? Like, I don't think they're conference finals or finals favorites, obviously, but they played a lot better than you would imagine for them. So,
yeah. All right. So that's the last recap there. Rob, what are the games to watch this weekend?
I got one NBA game for you to watch. And one college game to watch. So
really? Okay, we got a little bonus here today.
Yeah, Sunday night. You've got on NBA and NBC, OKC, Denver. I think that's worth the time. Jokic's second game back, going against OKC, obviously coming off of a tough Timberwolves loss. So that'll be a great one to watch.
He could reclaim that MVP spot, like
it's a battle of it, right? I think it was Jokic's to take. He went out. The odds have probably swung over in SGA's favor. Interesting to see kind of how they perform. This might be a battle to see who goes into All-Star break as the heavy favorite for it. And then college, you've got tomorrow, Saturday, the 31st, you've got Kansas and BYU. And so you've got possibly two of the top three picks in the draft, Darren Peterson from Kansas, and then AJ DeBonsa from BYU battling it out. So both big score-heavy guards, stars for their team. Peterson is projected as the number one pick right now. DeBonsa projected as the third pick. But I think really, really big game to kind of see some future prospect guys who will definitely be in the NBA next year and playing pivotal roles on whatever teams draft them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So for Buckets, Boards, and Banner, I'm John. That's Rob. We'll see y'all next time. See ya.